Hey, Kathy. It's good to see you on this Halloween episode.
Good to see you too.
If that's really you, I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. I'm kind of like, in some sort of a haunted area. So how's it going? How's it going up
Good.
there? How's
It's
the
going
weather?
good.
Is it snowing? Because I think it was supposed to snow up there, wasn't it?
It snowed the other day just briefly. Not,
Oh.
and that happens in October. I mean, it wasn't anything too alarming, but I'm gonna take this off because I can't look at myself looking like this. But yeah, it's lovely. How about you? What's new in
Well,
Florida?
we have our little cold snap, which means it was 72 this morning when I went out, and it didn't get much warmer the whole day.
Oh,
And then tomorrow we're going to wake up in the 60s.
wow, that sounds very
I
nice.
know, but it's going to get up to 80, but it's just rainy today. It's not one of
Hmm.
those cold days where it's sunny out, which is our usual winter. Um,
Yeah,
so so it's a
sounds
perfect
lovely.
day to do like, a Halloween episode.
I'd say good weather for trick or treating.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any trick-or-treating plans?
It's on Monday this year, so
Yeah.
we'll be giving out candy. We have a perfect neighborhood for trick or treating in our little area, so we usually have quite a few triggers and treaters, and yeah, we will have the house ready for them.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
get anybody here, but
yeah,
sad. Oh
I
well.
know. It's fun. I Halloween was sure fun with my kids, and now it's. I mean, I still enjoy seeing little kids come to
Yeah.
the door. It's
We'll
hilarious.
have to have a party or something. Okay, sound editor. So, anyway, I wanted to tell you about Stephen King for our GOB Rex, but
uh,
I
yes.
also wanted to maybe, tell you a little creepy story to start. I thought that would be
Okay.
fun for a Halloween episode
I
since
love
this
it.
is okay. All right, so this is like a real story, but you might have heard it before. I don't know, but I thought, well, I'll go ahead and tell it. So when I was growing up, at one point we moved to this little remote mountain community called Eden Valley. Okay. And it was
Okay.
named by, this is the fun, interesting part about it. It was named by a couple, Adam and Evelyn Pike. So, like, I guess that's why they called it Eden. Um,
Okay.
it was real beautiful and everything. And anyway, from our house, there about a half mile through the woods, you could get to this really magnificent waterfall. And the story goes that Adam and Evelyn used to go there, for picnics with their family and whatever. And they'd bring their kids, and they had two sons that were pretty close to the same age, and they're real competitive. So they would challenge each other to do daring things. And what happened is it was like a, nice fall crisp day, and the kids were up there and they dared, it was just the two boys, and one of them dared the other one to swing on this branch that hung over the waterfall. And what happened was the branch broke, and the boy, he fell into the rushing water, and then he was never found.
Oh,
And so they don't know, like, if he washed downstream to the even bigger river, or if he was like caught in an eddy, and then like sucked down and his bones are still there in this hole, in the ground, in the water, in the rocks. They they just don't, nobody kind of knew. But there was also always this rumor that the living brother, he said it was an accident, but there was like people that said that it was sawed through. The branch was mostly sawed
oh,
through. Yeah, yeah. So this is when we moved there. This is just like an old wives' tale that was passed down, and it happened like 60 years earlier or something. But we loved to go to that waterfall. Me and my sisters, we would just go up there and we'd explore, through the woods. And we'd play around the edge near the bottom. We never went to the top, and we'd just like throw rocks and try to see if we could hit the stones behind the waterfall. And so one day, and it was in autumn because there was lots of leaves on the ground, me and my sister were up there and we were throwing rocks, and I threw one and I hear this loud crack, and I'm like, wow, my rock actually made that noise, right? And I looked up to the top, and there was a boy up there in overalls, and he was laughing. Like, I couldn't hear him over the waterfall, but he was laughing and he was pointing down. And so then I looked down, like into the water, and what I saw, it looked like a flannel shirt and a hand, and there was like red, it was like bloody whirlpool going. And I mean, I freaked out, and I looked back up, and the kid was gone. And then I looked back to the water, and there was nothing in the water. So then I'm like going, did I imagine it all? But like, my sister's freaking out. So I just grabbed her, and we went running because we're like, what the heck? So we ran all the way back home, and we, we said, we found my dad, and we're like, hey, we tell him what we see. And he's like, well, no, there couldn't have been anyone there because the trail going to the top had been washed out years earlier, and it was blocked off from the Forest Service and everything. But he still went and checked, and there was nothing there. So I really don't know if
That's
what we
very
saw
creepy.
that day, I don't know. I mean, but look, whenever it was like fall, we never went back up to that waterfall. That time we
either. Had there been other sightings of this, do you think? I mean, had you ever heard of that from anybody else?
No, I hadn't heard it from anybody else.
Wow.
I know.
That's a good ghost story. That's creepy.
I know. And it's totally not true. I just made it up.
You stinker.
I had you fooled, didn't I?
You did. You're
We can
a good
cut out that
storyteller.
it's not true, and our listeners would think it was true, right?
You had me fooled, and you're a very good storyteller.
Anyway, that's a good one to tell.
That is
when
a good
you're
one to
by
tell.
the fire on Halloween, right? I'll give you
Right?
permission to make that up and tell them that it happened to me. But yeah. So anyway, in contrast, we have Stephen King's fairy tale,
Yes.
and Stephen King, the king of horror. The Salem's Lot, Carrie, Misery. Yeah. I mean, all of those we could, but fairy tale is more like a fairy tale. So it is good and evil, a battle between good and evil. And basically it's, there's, he has a high school kid as the main character with his dog. And so they end up going into like this alternate universe, and it's all kind of fairy tales woven in. It kind of reminds me of like Wizard of Oz, because he's on a quest to say, to find this magic thing that will save the dog, and in the meantime he has to battle all this evil and help the people living in this alternate world, and then he goes back to his regular world and stuff. So it was like a real fun, there was a little, some things were scary or very action filled, but it wasn't like the horror genre. I wouldn't call it that. And the interesting thing was that he is, and you can see this on his website, he asked himself at the beginning of the pandemic, what could you write to make you happy? And then he says, and I'll read the quote, as if my imagination had been waiting for the question to be asked, I saw a vast, deserted city, deserted but alive. I saw the empty streets, the haunted buildings, a gargoyle head lying overturned in the street. I saw smashed statues of what I don't know, but I eventually found out. I saw a huge, sprawling palace with glass towers so high their tips pierced the clouds. Those images released the story I wanted to tell. So,
So that's so Stephen King, because he said he wanted to write something that made him feel good, and then he had this vision of a pretty dark
Yeah, right. Well,
location. That's
and I mean, we always say like for book club, but this is a long book, so you probably would
yeah.
have to like be like, okay, this is our book club for plan ahead for the few months or something. I mean,
Yeah.
I would think, because it's hard to read it like all. It's like, and it's kind of the way I read it. I would just read like a scene before I went to bed, because that's a lot of the time when I have the time to read. And it was almost like, reading a fairy tale. Well, what's going to happen? What strange character are we going to meet today?
Oh, that's really
So
cool.
it's kind of fun. And
That's a great recommendation.
yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it. And as far as food and wine, there wasn't a lot of wine drinking because his father was an alcoholic, the kid's father, so he was very aware of that. But his father is fine in the book, but he had a past of that, and so they drank a lot of lemonade. But I'm thinking a Pinot Grigio has like lemon flavor
yeah.
to it. And so, somebody wants to drink lemonade, and then we can have Pinot Grigio. And then, they ate just normal, regular food. So you could almost, I'm trying to think if there was, I thought of something earlier, but I forgot. But I would say you could just do anything like a casserole or something.
Casserole. I should have brought. I'm sorry I don't have this with me. This is hilarious. I had a party here last weekend for my parents' anniversary, and it was a great party. And my sister brought some. She likes very hoppy, different kinds of beers, very unique. And I thought of you and she left this here, and has a picture of Chucky, that little freaky Chucky doll, on the beer can.
So is it like a Halloween beer, huh? Maybe it's pumpkin
Yeah,
flavored
it's like
or something.
Yeah, it was very seasonal, but that would have been perfect for this episode.
Oh, I know. I should have gotten some too. That sounds really good right now. Well,
I'll send you a picture of it. Well, that was fun. That's a great recommendation.
yeah. So anyway, so that will get us ready for Halloween.
There you go.
And
Happy Halloween, everyone.
I know. Happy Halloween. And I guess, you guys have a good time. Use my ghost story, and we'll see you next
I haven't even filled
time.
my glass.
Cheers.
Bye.